This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Grasslands. This map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game mod hub, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Let's start out by reading a little bit of the description, and then we'll jump on into the map. It says, welcome to Grasslands. This map is based on the UK, has all Farm Sim 19 features, has around 70 fields of all shapes and sizes. This map is seasons prepared. Says there is a large forest on the map. The chicken yard is also the contractor yard. Map has great views, and he wants to give thanks to oxygendavid, lancyboi, bulletbill, PB modding for all their help and models, and MJ modding for letting him finish the map and release it. Go ahead and jump on in. We're going to pick the mods that we typically use in our map videos. I will say that I did load this map up with straw harvest and seasons, and there wasn't any issue whatsoever with loading those up. You don't need to be worried about if you want to play with seasons and straw harvest. Should be good to go on the map. Map load up error free. Lots of starting equipment is spawning in here. And here we are. So let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. Rolling out, and we can see that we have a rather full map. There is an interesting little corner up here that is blank, but aside from that, we have a rather busy map for sure. Take a look at the lands area. You see we start out with the cow farm. Also own fields 25 and 26, field 61, 6, 52, and 42 down here in the lower corner. Now, interestingly enough, is a biogas plant here, but to buy it, you have to buy all of the roads and typically all of the unbuyable things, like the sell points, as well as this big hunk of land over here in the corner outside the map boundary. And that puts it at $2.4 million. I think that puts it out of reach of lots of folks. Not really sure why the map author has done this. Typically, you need to own the biogas plant in order to be able to sell to it and in order to be able to tip into the bunkers. We also have on the farm a sheep farm. On the map, a sheep farm, $213,000. We have a pig farm that includes field 43, $677,000. We have a horse farm, $262,000. Cow farm we own at the start, but if you start this map up in Farm Manager or start from scratch, you'll need to buy a farm. So the cow farm is $198,000. And then the chicken area up here is $308,000. Again, the map author said in the description that this is basically the contractor yard also. Now, also on Farm Manager or Start from Scratch, all of this equipment is here. So the only difference between New Farmer and the other game modes is that you own land at the start, where other game modes you would not. See, we have all of the standard Farm Sim 19 crops available to us. Take a look at the sell points. We have one sell point for the bulk of our crops. We have a spinnery for cotton and wool. We have two sell points for eggs and milk. We also have a sell point for wood chips in the sawmill and the barn for hay, straw, grass, and silage. Again, since we can't buy the BGA without $2.4 million, we're going to need someplace to sell silage before we can basically get that much money. You also have the ability to sell pellets at the barn. You have straw harvest enabled. Take a look at the starting equipment. We have a fairly long list of starting equipment. All is well maintained. None of it is leased at the start. We do not start with any cows and we do have contracts available on the map. Let's go ahead and take a look at that starting equipment. Start out with John Deere 6230R, Thnk 1038, Fast Track 8330, and the John Deere 7230R. You also have the Massey Ferguson 7347S harvester. Have then the free flow 25-foot grain header for that harvester, EKD 302 trailer, and the SEK 802 trailer. You have the POH 5 plow, Kuhn Cultimer L300 cultivator, Pronto 9 DC seeder, Kuhn fertilize sprayer. Then we have the Kuhn front sprayer tank. We have the Kuhn fertilize spreader. We have the Pottinger side mower and front mower. And interesting enough, these are still at the shop. So you're going to have to bring these back to the farm from the shop. You have the Thnk 604 tedder, Kuhn rake, the Zelon CFS 2501 forage wagon, the New Holland roll belt round baler, Silo King TMR mixer. You have the Kuhn straw blower. Also have the Joskins water trailer, front loader arms, bucket, bale spike, header trailer, and a placeable grain silo is our starting equipment. Only thing that is pretty much placeable here on the map is what is included with the map. All of the animal areas are burned into the map, so those are not viable or sellable. And something else is you'll notice the farm does not have a sleep trigger. So while I have gone on from time to time about maps that have sleep triggers that you can't get rid of, this map has taken the choice of having no sleep trigger, so you can basically put down your own. I think is a perfectly good option since we have an abundance of sleep triggers available to us in the mod hub. You can choose whichever you want and put it down wherever you want. Then you can basically have the ability to sleep at any particular farm so desire to own. With that, let's go ahead and take a look at the farm here, at the cow area, and then we'll start looking at the rest of the map. A fairly large farmyard here, machinery all stretched out. Continues on down here. Got some decorative items, junk, not really in the way. Like how it's all kind of been placed. Grass work equipment. Now we have a trigger here at this cow gate. I'm not really sure what this is for. This is not the buy trigger for the cows. I don't know if this is just left over from a previous iteration of the map. Trigger markers are floating. They don't seem to do anything. And we've pretty much identified where all the other triggers are for the cows, so I'm not really sure what that is. Loader arms, I like how we've got the implements up here on top of this pile of wood. You have two silage bunkers right here. One and two. Here we have our cow dialogue to buy, sell, and deliver our cows. The other side of this building, we have our water trough and our manure pit, small manure pit there nonetheless. And we activate the animal pen extension mod so we can see if there's built-in support for the pipes, and also the pipes help us locate where the water triggers are. We have our slurry point for our cows right here. And so thinking now, maybe this trigger over here is for milk. A little removed. from the milking parlor, which is right here. Quite possibly that is the milk trigger. Doesn't really give you anything else to go on. No real visual clue, like having milk jugs beside it. Quite possibly that is the milk trigger. Now that I look at it. Here we have the food trough. And the straw trigger is inside here. This is where you're going to be putting the straw, right here. This side of the building, we've got our silo. Standard in-game silo here. We got our dump and our fill spout. And then we've got a fair bit of room back here for just any other placeable you might want. It's almost as if there should be a building here, but there aren't any required mods listed. So I guess this stuff is just lined up here along the road. That is pretty much the cow farm. Got the sheds here with roll doors, but we don't really need to open up every single door and look inside every single building. So with that, let's go ahead and get set up for the fly around. Take a look at the map from above. And we'll circle back to the shop, get our Mahindra, and drive around the map in a little bit more detail. Let's take a look here at the cow farm. So the cow area can be fertilized. This pasture out here, darker color, so it can be fertilized. Make our way up here to the pig farm. Oops. Pig farm here. Oh, sorry, this is the sheep farm. We have our water trough, food troughs, and other things. We're going to take a closer look at these in detail when we start driving around. Here we have the biogas plant. And the biogas plant, strangely enough, is part of a $2.4 million purchase. That involves the roads, other sell points, and a little bit of land that's outside the map boundary. I think that kind of puts it out of reach of lots of players as a result. Head over here to the contractor yard. Also the chicken area. As we go across, you can kind of look across the map. We do have a hot air balloon. Here we have the contractor yard. And the chicken area. And like I said, this whole section is just outside the map boundary. Seems a little odd that there would be this, but okay. And the rest of the map is very well populated and set up with fields and forests, roads, and the map is kind of a bowl shape where the outside edges of the map are higher up. Kind of the more center of the map is a bit lower. Do have rolling hills, such. Kind of coming across the map down here to the pig farm. hedges do have collisions, as do the poles here that are in the middle of the field. Big farm. Circle over here to our one grain sell point and then the shop. As I said, the butterfly mowers and the front mower, interestingly enough, is down here at the shop versus being back at the main farm. Down here at the shop, we've got our shop trigger. Spawn point. Have our maintenance and repair. Sorry, no, this is our animal dialogue. So this is our animal buy point. Go back here and look. Where is the where's the shop trigger for customized selling and repairing your equipment? I don't see it. Go across the street and see if it's over there. Here we have our grain sell point. This is the only grain sell point on the map. And no, I don't see a customize and repair trigger here across the street or at the shop. Maybe we'll run across it during our drive. I don't know. While I do kind of do some reconnaissance around the map before I do record the videos, I don't look for every single thing. Kind of just look for the highlights. Map does have some really nice views, as it said in the description. Here we have the horse farm. We have our horse trigger, our straw trigger. And on the inside of the gate, we have our food trough here, and then we have our water trough around the other side, right here. Other than that, we've got a pretty hilly horse farm here. Might not want to use round bales, especially on this bale shed. This feels a little weird having that kind of way those buildings are on that incline. I thought either that the building would have been squared up, or just the area around the building would have been maybe cut into the hillside a little bit. Rundown house with some rundown vehicles. Go up here and make our way up to the contractor yard, and we'll do a little in-cab driving just to get that perspective of the map. Like I said, these hedges do have collisions. Hold on. Oops. Going off of that red line right there. Maybe these are hedges with the special collision that only works on bales and headers. Instead, I was queuing off of that red line that I saw. I was doing some reconnaissance. I can tell you those poles definitely have collisions on them. Here we have the chicken yard, contractor yard. Kind of built on a hill. And I'm going to back up here. For whatever reason, there is a lot of water sound up here on top of this hill. There must be a torrent underwater river right underneath this ground. It is awful loud up here. So I'm going to try to talk over top of it, but I kind of cursory fly through this area. It's because of the river that we are hearing in the background. So here we have our chicken area. We've got our food trough. We have our egg spawn point and our chicken buy point. Up here we have the sawmill. We have our log sell point as well as our wood chip sell point. Over here. And then we have a contractor building. Should we so wish to play contractor chicken farmer. This is the intended yard for that purpose. Let's get away from the torrent. It is the underground river. And we'll head back to the main road. Kind of would think that this road would be cut into the hillside a little more. Coming down off that other road with a tall trailer full of bales, I think you might just roll over on you, or a tall load of logs. Up here on the left is the spinnery. Of course, our wool and cotton sales. Quite a grand estate. For something so modest as a wool and cotton sell point. Really nice feel with respect to the rolling terrain. Again, from the aerial, it kind of gives you the impression that the map has been laid out with kind of the idea of a bowl, where the perimeters of the map are definitely much higher than the interior of the map. Here we are at the biogas plant. And again, buy this, you've got to spend $2.4 million. Not own buyable land area. It is tied up with the roads and the other sell points on the map, as well as this big hunk of unused out-of-bound lands. Makes it fairly expensive at $2.4 million. You also have the bale sell point up here. If you do end up buying it, we've got the digestate trigger, and the normal tanks have been kind of reskinned. Have an interesting reskin on these. I kind of like the stone on those. So we've got our digester. And take a look across. This is a really nice view. Kind of a shame that it's so expensive. You have silage bunker 1 and 2. Still haven't found what's the This is a egg and milk sell point. Okay, so eggs and milk right there. So in cab driving so we can see where we're going with these tree-lined roads. But we're going to have to head down here to a crossroad. We'll head over to the pig farm. I haven't seen any traffic on this road. Thought I saw map traffic. Maybe there was only traffic along the other road. Head across here. A bridge. So let's take a look here. So this road this is the road chop that'll take us up to the cow farm. Continue on down this road. It looks like we can go down here to the pigs and then come back up here, intercept main road, and then head up here. Sheep. We've already seen the cow farm. That bridge, that's a pretty cool design on the bridge. Pretty narrow road here, so cautious with the size of equipment that you're planning on driving through here. While the hedges might not necessarily have collisions on them, at least for most stuff, fences and walls and other things most definitely will. Driving cab be easier than having to try to avoid trees. sightseeing and missed our turn. I am a little concerned on where the cell trigger is. Customize and repair and cell trigger is for the shop. I didn't see it. I haven't seen it at all. Wondering if that is missed. Other things on the map is, you know, instinctively the fact that we've got to pay $2.4 million to get access to the biogas plant. Here we have our straw, food trough, and our pig delivery point is right here. A little strange that it's not here at the gate. Around back we have our water trigger. Slurry is inside here. And manure is actually around the corner of this building. Manure pit. Not a lot of storage over here at the pig farm. No silo. So I guess you could tip to ground stuff in here. With respect to feeding the pigs. A little bit of storage. No silo. Again, all of these buildings are baked into the map in all play modes. So map highlights is there is no sleep trigger, so you can place your own wherever you want. In Farm Manager or Start from Scratch, you have all the equipment. And you have a lot of money, but no land. So, in essence, you could sell all the equipment and ever increase your bank account even more. Get started. You start with a fair bit of equipment. You do have traffic on this main road. That's it. Side road, where we have that little bridge. We don't have any traffic on that. Not even a one-way traffic. Kind of useful. It does narrow down there quite a bit. So here we have the sheep farm. Some people might be turned off by having all of this stuff, if you will, lying around. Other people are probably going to find it adds to the realism. So we have our sheep area, our wool, food trough, and again, an interesting trigger location to buy animals. Over here, not at the gate. Right here. Map's updated. They need to look at all of these trigger markers. They're pretty much all floating everywhere. We have a huge, deep pasture out here. Got the water trough. Back. And guys, that is it. That is Grasslands. Again, this map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game mod hub. And as of the 1.0 release, This map is available for all platforms. Sound off in the comments. Let me know, what do you think of Grasslands? You know where the trigger is to sell stuff at the shop? Now let me know, because, gosh, I didn't see it. Until next time, happy farming. Be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell.